Well, I think now we should move into a meditation and hear a channel from Kryon. I invite you to take a deep breath in through your nose and slowly exhale out through your mouth. And with your next breath, I invite you to place your hands on your heart and feel this connection in your heart area. And as you breathe in and out slowly, focusing on your heart, I invite you to think of a memory or a present moment of gratitude. What was something you had deep gratitude for in the past? Or perhaps we can simply focus on the gratitude that we have allowed this moment right now for us to pause and connect and listen to the beautiful, loving messages, wisdom, and guidance from Kryon.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. I've always said this, that we know who is listening, and whether it is in that which you call live now, or whether it is a replay, or whether it's a year from now, again, I say to you, we know who is watching and listening. And it's in an extremely loving way. Picture for a moment those of you who have children, perhaps that they're grown up. And perhaps they have lives of their own and they're living there. Every mother, every father loves that time when the child calls. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. I love you. There are some parents who sit by the phone or have it even close so that if that happens, they'll be sure and catch it. So if they're away, perhaps they'll have a way of taking the message or perhaps even having that live because they take their phone with them in a certain way. Do you see what I'm saying? Spirit sits by the phone. We know as soon as you tune in to these messages, it's almost like you made a phone call. And now we get to talk to you, and you get to talk to us in a way that's with the love that you have that goes both ways. I'd like to start a series about compassion. This channel and the next 3 will be 4 facets or faces of compassion. There are many kinds of compassion, and we're going to talk about 4 related things, subjects, if you might say, facets, kinds of compassion. And they may be different from what you think. You'll see as we go. I'm telling my partner yet again that these 4 channels on compassion will be available for everyone, not just members. And that is the way of it. The channelings should be free, and they will be distributed. There is a place for that. My partner has created it, and eventually all that happens here in the channeling sections of this program will be available to everyone. So when I say there's going to be 4 of these, 3 others will always be available. This is the first. Let us define compassion. Now, the definition of compassion from me will be different from anything you'll get in your dictionary, because we see compassion as the essence, literally, of the creative source. Love and compassion are the elements of God. Whatever you say God is, whether you call it spirit, creative source, or any name you wish, if you want to know the energy that is most central and most common and most powerful, love and compassion, those are the energies. Together, they form a benevolent kind of compassionate action that we will discuss in another time. Let me give the definition we wish you to hear twice. I'll give it, of how we see compassion. Compassion is the connection with the creative source, with God, with Spirit. It's the connection with Spirit that allows a meld of energy to happen for you. That would give you an open-heartedness, a mature benevolence, and understanding, full understanding of all that is around you. It's different, isn't it? So if you start to analyze that particular definition, you will see the sense of it and the logic of it, because it has several pieces and parts. The connection with Spirit will automatically connect you to your soul and give you a piece of that compassion you need, then to allow a meld with the energies of open-heartedness, with a mature benevolence, not an immature benevolence, a mature benevolence, something that you get from the connection with Spirit, and then goes into an understanding perception of what you're being compassionate about. That is a mature compassion. That is at the heart of everything we teach. The most common compassion would be compassion for others in your life. As you walk around as a light worker or even an interested spiritual person, you have to understand that compassion is the catalyst for everything. Compassion is the thing that moves you into a state of peace that allows for healing. And we're going to say that again. We're going to say it again in several channels. And the ones who are featured on these programs, the speakers, the healers, they'll talk about it as well. If you've ever talked to a healer and say, before you go into a healing session or you have another human report to you, whether it's long distance or in front of you, what do you do? And some will say, well, I meditate or I prepare myself. And then if you want to drill down a little more, say, well, what does that mean exactly? Prepare yourself. How do you prepare yourself? What do you do? And they'll start using language like this. I drop into my heart. I have a compassionate countenance. I clear my mind so that I can feel the love and the needs of the person I'm going to talk to, the one I'm going to balance so that they can heal themselves. This is the process for any healer on the planet, especially the ones that interface with other humans day after day, or give readings to the humans to help their heart to become less afraid and more peaceful. They prepare themselves. They drop into their heart. They throw away the intellect. They don't try to figure things out. They just are. Let me tell you something. How many inventors have you heard tell a story that their inventions came not when they were concentrating on the pieces and the parts of the physics or the chemistry? It happened when they were doing something completely and totally unrelated, walking down the street, perhaps going to sleep. And that's when the best ideas happened. It's the same process, dear ones. Compassion and love are the same. You clear all your countenance, and then you can start to have that which is a compassionate heart. And that leads, by the way, right into the ability to heal. Compassion for others is not pity. It is not feeling sorry for anyone. Compassion for another person is you pretending you are there with the answer. And so that is you in their place, and not necessarily feeling what they're feeling, but going to them as though you could hug them, even long distance. You have a compassion for others where you don't necessarily do much or feel that which is them as much as you're hugging them. You have a compassion for them like you would have for your child, perhaps, who fell down and bumped their knee. It's not about healing their knee. It's about holding them and loving them so much that they would feel from you something they didn't expect, perhaps something that comes from the other side of the veil. When we get to the fourth attribute, I'm going to explain this, and you're going to know more about that which we're going to name as a facet of compassion. But this is similar to number 4. Compassion for others, the most common thing that you might have, is not necessarily becoming empathetic with them. In fact, that might even be dangerous. If somebody is in horrible sorrow because of the loss of a loved one, and you have the ability to empathize with that can affect you. You can see this. If they're afraid, that can affect you. You can see this. But if you stand apart and your whole job is to hug them, even long distance, or to be there for them, sometimes the best compassion you can have in person is to let them talk. If you sit there and love them while they talk to you, that's the highest compassion that you could have at the moment for somebody who is in trouble. If you're doing it long distance for a group who has suffered something together, imagine hugging all of them, giving them peace. What you're sending them and hoping that they can receive with an open heart is that which you receive when you realize that you're being hugged by the Spirit, by God who knows your name. And so you might project onto them the feeling of peace and understanding so that they would get through whatever it is that they are going through. Or if you're looking at a group or a culture and you have compassion for them, you feel them being hugged through their trial so that they would have far less anxiety and would not be fearful. If you want to have compassion for the planet at this moment, as it works through the puzzle of what you've called the virus, what you want to project there is clear. Peace, understanding, lack of fear. You can do that. You can do that because you have the light that figuratively can be sent even to huge groups through the energy of your peaceful countenance and consciousness. Just lately on this planet, you have proved and continue to prove that consciousness is energy, a player in physics even. Now you know. That is going to be seen even greater as you go. That means that you, as a light worker, can have compassion for others that they can feel, that clears the field around them, that helps them to deal with what they're dealing with. Can you send compassion for the earth? Yes, you can. A group of you, even better, sending compassion. That you get through this without the fear, the anxiety, the things that will actually shorten your life if you're not careful. And that is the answer. Compassion for others on this planet, even one at a time, even planet-wide, bigger than you think, and is the true job and the talent of a light worker listening to this program. That's what you're here for. Consciousness changes this planet. Love is always the answer. I'll be back. And so it is.